What is going on, everyone? Chris with Journos Comics and Pop Culture. We're hanging out. It's Tuesday, and it's been a day, man. I gotta say, we got some folks here. Simon, what's going on, Simon? Maz, what's up, Maz? Maz's Toy Box, guys. Yeah, man. CGC. I wish I was tipping a few back myself right now. I've had a crazy day. How many people here don't trust contractors whatsoever? I'm done, man. I'm done. It's like we all need to learn how to do stuff on our own and handle stuff ourselves. I've been dealing with the same stuff for literally years now. And that's what I was dealing with all day today, is just businesses that are taking your money, cutting corners, making a million excuses, and digging themselves a deeper hole and not dealing with the problems. Ironically, that kind of relates to the topic at hand today. Alan, what's going on, Alan? We're gonna be discussing CGC, and again, as always, I like to take a critical thinking approach. We're not just gonna sit here and like bash CGC. We got some stuff to talk about that hopefully we all can, marinate with, look at, analyze, and learn from, and figure out how it affects us or what we can do moving forward to positively impact some change, right? CL Dub, what is going on? So before we get into it, we're going to take a few minutes to let the folks get in. We're not going to be here too long today, probably an hour show. That's still a lot of time to discuss issues. I got to pick up my son from work, so I will be cutting it at 7:40. All right. If you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, please take the time to do so. I'm almost at 12,000 subscribers. When I get there, I will be doing a giveaway, and I make content, many days of each week. And I actually just posted a video today that I think is very awesome for you guys to check out. It's discussing the new app/website, Overstreet Access, done none other by Overstreet. They are bringing to life their very own database, and I'm loving it so far, guys. I go check out that video. I explore the app and how to use it. I give some pros and cons. I actually am going to be doing a side-by-side comparison video where I compare Overstreet Access to Cover Price, CLZ, Key Collector. Of course, I use all of the above, and they're all unique in their own ways. They are. And I'll probably never stop using all of them. But Overstreet's making some headway, man. So go check out that video. And probably in about a week or two, I'll be doing that side-by-side comparison as well. Ramon, what's going on, Ramon? Fizbin. Yeah, seriously, it is, man. It absolutely. That's some good info. Thank you for checking that out. Yeah. Red Deadly. Yep. He's hanging out. He's behind the scenes today, but he's hanging out, with his cousin Psylocke. So yeah, that's what's up. Let's see what else we got coming up, guys. This Friday, 4 more days. I have my next big Whatnot sale. It's my Spider-Man sale part 2. Everything Spidey. I just got some. I got a lot of early WebUps that I just added. Look at this awesome Doc Ock cover, with the tentacles coming in at Spidey. And then we got this awesome Hulk cover there. So I got where's my second appearance of Hobgoblin in here somewhere. A lot of Bronze Age ASM. Got a Venom signed by Donny Cates. So go check it out, guys. It's up on my Whatnot right now at Journos Comics. If you guys don't have a Whatnot yet, you can use the link below. If you sign up with that link, you get $10 off your first purchase. That purchase can be from any seller, not just me. But I will be there Friday, 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern, with my big Spidey sale part 2. And again, for every individual purchase made, it is an entry into win this awesome CGC 9.8 Amazing Spider-Man 55, the red variant, the second print variant there. So there is that. Let's see. We, of course, will be having another comic book canon this coming Sunday. I won't be having a Friday night live show this Friday because I will be doing my whatnot sale. So that's where I'll be hanging out. So, but hey, we're here tonight. We got some stuff to talk about. Justin, what's going on? Justin, your go. I saw an old video you did on Spiro's Heroes. Oh, that's awesome. Spiro's is amazing. Elliot, man, I got to make it down there again. It's been 5 years now. It's been 5 years since I visited Spiro's Heroes down in Southern California, man. But yeah, I went in there and filled up a long box of comics. Elliot hooked it up, and I can't wait. I think the 50-cent bins are $1 now because of inflation. But still, guys, if you're ever in Southern California, you got to check out Spiro's Heroes. SPERO''S. Great shop. Circumstances. What's going on? Love that shop. Yep, absolutely. Professor Reasonable. I love that name. Contractors. No way I prefer to learn on you. Hey, man, I've learned a lot. That's how I built this room. Well, my dad and I helped built this room in here. But yeah, man, it's crazy. So much drama. So, guys, let's get into it. So it's not new news. I believe they broke it yesterday. I don't even remember. The days are just blurred together for me. We got another statement. I know everyone's already talking about it, but I thought I would, share my perspective on things and, hear what you guys have to say. Now, I know when this recent statement came out from CGC, a lot of people were like, oh, yeah, finally. Then you get the people that are like, screw CGC, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, well, okay, I'm glad you're doing this, but what about this? So I will say I'm not on some, finally they did this. I'm not. This is still CGC digging themselves a deeper hole, in my humblest opinion. So what we're going to do, of course, we are going to bring this statement up. Like I said, I'm sure a lot of you have seen it by now, but we're going to read it for context. Some of you haven't, I'm sure. We are going to read it together. Here we go. Are we ready? Are we ready for this? CGC Mike. All right, Mike was tipping a couple back. Said, all right, I got to do this. I feel sorry for Mike. Mike's just, he's don't kill the messenger. I don't know. I don't know Mike's role at CGC, but here we go, guys. We appreciate everyone being patient with our follow-up regarding the Clayton Crane acetate covers. After discussions this past week, CGC will assign a qualified signature series label to comics that contain an acetate cover by Mr. Crane, as well as his signature that have been witnessed by a CGC representative. Wow. This also applies to the Ultimate Fallout Facsimile Edition number 4 that's sold in C2E2. The grade assigned will take into consideration, I love this part, the grade of the acetate cover as well as the interior book. Was that not happening before? We'll come back to that. For members who have already submitted copies of the Ultimate Fallout issue to CGC, we will extend an opportunity to have Mr. Crane's signature applied to their copies. So they receive that qualified SS label, that beautiful yellow label. Oh gosh, guys. If a copy does not exhibit Mr. Crane's witness signature, the book will receive a qualified grade. I should have had a green label over here, but I don't. Wow. Going forward, CGC will only certify artist-created covers that are first approved by CGC. And those covers must be signed by the artist through the Signature Series Yellow Label program to receive the qualified Signature Series label. The cover must be created by a published artist. Oh my goodness. Guys. Sarcasm, your sarcasm. I'm gonna play on your circumstances. Your sarcasm today, it doesn't play well because this affects a lot of us. So if it doesn't, I'm happy that you're here. I'm getting to understand your personality, and that's gravy. And I'm not, but I'm just saying, like, don't sit here and undermine this not mattering to other people. If it means nothing to you, then that's all good. But it matters to other people, and that's a fact. I'm just saying. JoJo! Oh my goodness. Flicks in comics, JoJo. I'm out. I'm out of words, guys. I hope you're well, JoJo. Thank you so much for popping in. It's been so long. Oh man. All right, Simon. Best core. Yeah, I hear you. Who's CGC? Who is this guy, Mike? Who is CGC Mike? Okay, guys. Look. Let's go over this. We're gonna go over this piece by piece. So what I'm understanding is this. Basically, they're saying multiple things. The one thing that I think is important, though, right, that we all should understand is that they're saying that, well, guys, these acetate covers that Black Flag made with Clayton Crane's involvement, they shouldn't get a blue label. They shouldn't. If you send in a book, one of these books with the acetate covers, it's going to get a green label. Why? Well, because they, damaged the book. They altered not just damage, excuse me, because obviously damages are defects, but they altered the book. They altered the book outside of the actual manufacturing process. And I don't care. I've said this before. I don't care if Black Flag or Clayton Crane brought them to an actual manufacturing facility and paid for some manufacturing company just to put 2 more staples in for this cover. It wasn't the publishers manufacturing the book. So therefore, no blue label, green label. I agree with that 100%. But the one thing that they did not address, what about all the 9.9 and 9.8s in the 10s that they already assigned that are out there? It voids them. So what were these selling for? They were selling for like thousands of dollars. The 9.8s, 9.9s, and 10s. I think the 10 sold for like $4,000 or something, if I remember. Don't quote me on that. So they made that purchase price based on the fact that CGC certified this as a universal blue label book. They validated it. So is this person that bought it going to go to CGC and say, well, I know, you were only involved in the $30 certification process of this book, but I paid thousands of dollars and now I'm stuck with a book that I can't even sell because it's invalid, it's void. Wow. That's a big problem. And look, I'm not sitting here saying that it's CGC's responsibility to reimburse this customer $4,000. I mean, that's not how it works, and I get that. But these people are stuck. Now, you can look at CGC and say, well, CGC should do some damage control. Maybe CGC could say, anybody that has one of these books, if you send it back in, we'll give you we'll grade it correctly. I don't know who wants to do that because then you're going to have a green label, even though the blue label is invalid. But maybe they give you some store credit or something. I have no idea. Maybe, you know what they do? Anybody that owns I got it. I figured it out on the fly. This is what CGC should do because, and this leads us into the next point of their message here. CGC should accept any blue label UF4 acetate for free, have Clayton Crane sign it, regrade it with a yellow signature series, and send it back to that person all for free. That's what they should do. That's what they should do. Guys, we should start a petition, create a hashtag. That'll be the movement, guys. That's what they need to do. Circumstances, if you don't think the community discussing these things in a productive manner isn't having an impact, then you got the wool over your eyes. This right here, even though it's subpar, even though it's still digging CGC a deeper hole, if the community wasn't being vocal about this still, none of this would be happening. And I don't know nothing about them selling out but their new acetate covers, but my point still remains. I know, Jojo, it's crazy. Believe me, it's crazy. I miss the old days, that's for sure. So, guys, Kilted Corgi. This will affect CGC minimally. And you could be right, Corgi. You could be right. Seriously, take that dummy. That's for real. Okay, guys, I want to address another issue. And let's talk about the yellow label. I have no idea. I have no idea. Well, I do, but how CGC can validate giving these books a yellow label simply to have you send them in and pay them to take advantage of a Clayton Crane signing. It makes absolutely no sense, and CGC is drunk. They're drunk because they make no sense, and they're drunk on that money. I mean, are they even? I'm sorry. I've been you guys know me. If you know me, I don't sit here and bash companies. I'll call CG out on some BS one day, and then I'll praise them the next day because I want to focus on, what they can improve on, and then I want to focus on what they are doing good, right? Any company. But for this, I'm not giving CGC any leeway here. This is drunk on money right here. You are going to, they're not even hiding it. It's like they're tipping the bottle back like, oh, well, Marvel said what they said, and I guess we got to give it green label, but, why don't we just have a Clayton Crane signing, and they can just send it in for the signing series, and we'll give it a yellow label. We'll just take their money. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. Because they did state, it has to be witnessed by them, which a lot of people give CGC crap for, not authenticating signatures. I don't. I actually don't. Now, I'm not saying it's black and white, but I understand why they don't and why they need to witness, okay? But that's a whole other conversation. So they did say they need a witness. If you already have this book, this acetate book, signed by Clayton Crane, and you send it in, it's still going to get a green label. But I'm sorry. It's like, seriously, man, it's like somebody burnt the cake, but then they're just trying to add whipped cream on top to cover up the burn. Nah, man, this thing's already flamed up. You can't sugar. I mean, that's exactly it. They are sugarcoating this. You can't add sprinkles on it. It's not going to change it. This is such a conundrum. They're contradicting themselves. I mean, what is another example? It boggles my mind. It boggles my mind. I got to bring this up, Ramon. Let's see what you're saying here. CGC could reduce membership pricing for those who bought the UF4 facsimile, keep customers long term. Yeah, that's something they could do. They won't. Bloop, what's going on, Bloop? Yeah, I don't know if you just jumped in, Bloop, but I was just talking about that. I was just talking about that. Right. This is a great, I mean, and at the end of the day, take that dummy. I mean, still, we want to hold people accountable. You know, we give people business who people that we could trust, and we want to validate, right? If there's a seller or influencer, again, that word influencer, don't give them your business. Don't support them. We support who we want to support, and they'll have success if we continue to support them. But like Take That Dummy says here, pisses them off when it's the big companies that should know better and then seemingly don't care. That's such a great point. Ooh, wow. Adam, I wasn't aware of that. Maybe I was and I just forgot. They offered to reholder the books for free, but never admitted any error on the. Wow. Yep. Yeah, I think I actually remember hearing about that, but I wasn't diving too deep into. I didn't even own any CGC books in 2014. So I was not, and I didn't have a YouTube. Wasn't watching YouTube. So I was not hip to what was going on with CGC back then. But yeah, that is the same. Sagi, what's going on, Sagi? Appreciate you. This is a good question. Okay. So are they still going to give it the yellow green label? All right, Justin, thank you for bringing that up. Because if they do, then I do give them a little more credit. It still goes to show, like, they're just, I think they are they're milking it, guys. That's my humble opinion. It's like, if I was them, I'd want to stay away from this book. I would have came out and said, from now on, we're going to give the green label. Okay. What they're going to do with the blue label is already out there. That's beyond me. I would have said, we're going to get it the green label and end it. I wouldn't have even accepted anything. Well, if they're already, see, and I don't know this, if they already had a Clayton Crane Signature Series event scheduled, but does anybody know if this was announced after all this went down? Because if they schedule this after all this went down, to me, and then to announce it, to say, oh, but you could still send them in, I don't know. Look, regardless of their intent, it's bad timing. And a lot of this stuff that's been following C2E2 has been bad timing. It's just all bad. It's bad timing, regardless of intent. And intent versus perception has been a huge thing in this community as of late. No matter how much good intent we have, perception rules people's reality. This is bad timing, even if it was already on the books, even if it was already scheduled. But Justin, to your point, I really hope so. If they're giving it the Signature Series yellow with the green, then and actually now that you say that makes sense because of how they worded it. Then I step back just a little bit and humble myself a little bit to say, all right, but I still have the big, huge question mark of what their intent is. And as I said, I'll repeat it one more time. No matter their intent, it's bad timing. It will be qualified Signature Series, so it will have the green. Okay, good to know. 360, thank you. Thank you. Let's see it. They raised their prices. I agree, Miguel. I agree. Blue label should be disqualified books. Money return. Yeah, that'll never happen for sure. Let's pull this up one more time here. Well, it's up for you guys. I'm gonna pull it up for me. And there's something else that I wanted to go over. Okay, this is the big issue. This is the big issue right here. Where it says, okay, and I'm laughing because this is the grade assigned will take into consideration the grade of the acetate cover as well as the interior book. Are you effing kidding me? So, are you saying, CGC, Mike, that all of those 9.8s and 9.9s and 10.0s, that you guys brought the books in, looked at the cover, the added acetate bootleg cover, and said, oh, 9.9, and you didn't even look at the rest of the book? Oh my God. Wow. Wow. I'm with a CGC witness. If you want to send me, 360. Let's do it. Hold up. Special guest, guys, it seems like. Boom. 360. I'm going to email it to you if that's okay. I do believe I have your email here. Where's my email? Here we go. All right, I'm going to pull this down real quick, guys. I got to get 360 comments the link. We are going to remove. All right, here, hold on tight, folks. It's like we're going to have some perspective here and some context added. Joe, do I have your email? 360. All right, hold on, guys. Hold tight for me. Joe, there it is. 360's email. Boom. Here it comes, Joe. Sending it your way. Boom. Sent. All right, let's see if we got a few more comments. Let's see. Not Nearman, what's going on? John C. I don't think they're saying that. Just maybe a reiteration. Why do you need to reiterate that, though? I don't get it. And again, it's just like, don't say that. Don't say that you're CGC. You're CGC. You grade a comic book. You don't just grade a cover. Don't say it. You're shooting yourself in the foot. Adam, let's see. All right, guys. So, I mean, look, I think I addressed the bulk of the issue here. There's some positives with this, update. I can't believe that they were so strong-headed in the first place to do what they did. But I'm glad that some things are shifting. But some of this stuff is just still making me shake my head. But we are going to bring on some special guests here, folks. Welcome. We got Joe with 360.
What's up, man?
A special guest. Let me get my volume up so I can hear you guys. What's going on, guys?
How you doing?
What's up, everyone? This is Alex. You can find me at The Collecting Dude. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Alex. Yeah, thanks for being here too. What's up, guys? So
we were sitting here bagging and boarding books, organizing a collection, and we were watching your video. And Alex is very knowledgeable on the subject, being someone who's worked in the comic book industry for dealers, for facilitators, and as a CGC witness. And he has probably dealt with CGC customer service more than anyone that I know. So
So I do. I did work for a facilitator, and so I've been an active CGC witness for a while now. Love going to shows. It's awesome because they don't have to be there. I can just go get stuff done, get stuff signed, do private signings, and get that yellow label. It's awesome. So some things I want to point out if you can't see this. This, if it loads, this is the qualified signature series label.
Awesome.
So this is a very rare label. You don't see this a lot because most people that have a book that's qualified won't want to go through the process of then signing it again to get that label. But the yellow label is only specifically for the witness signature.
Yep.
So you could have anybody you want write on it or a sketch, but they will only witness what's actually done. So I believe based on the wording from CGC Mike is that it said any book that was witnessed by Clayton Crane. So it sounds like they're aware that this book will get an acetate, will get a green label no matter what.
Right.
But if you choose to then have it signed, you will get a yellow label with the green bar. However, what you don't realize, they're saying that if it's already signed by, you'll get that green label. Well, if it's already signed by Clayton Crane, what they're basically saying is you can send it in again. And if you want a double sig on it, you can. But the second sig will be witnessed because it's the same as having it no book signed. Does that make sense? Not everybody's going to want to get their book signed twice, but they're basically giving you an opportunity that if it was already signed, it's still going to be a green label no matter what. So send it in again. They'll witness the second Clayton Crane signature, and you will get a green, yellow and green if you want to do that. It's not for everybody, but some people do that.
So you are saying that this might be a specific situation where somebody might say, well, it might be worth it to have them sign it twice because of this specific.
Just if they want to get that yellow and green label. But I think that it's not. People have so much money to this already. If they have it, like, why are you going to want to do the whole process again?
Yeah, good point. Yep. Okay, so I appreciate you coming on and sharing this, Alex, and to the folks that were in the comments that brought it up. I'm humbling myself a little bit here. This makes a lot more sense. But one thing I brought up, and then Alex, you can give your unbiased opinion, or just maybe even your thoughts, or maybe you even know. Are you even aware of when, I mean, obviously this announcement came out yesterday. Was there already something scheduled with Clayton Crane for CGC in their SS series?
I'm almost positive there was not. I mean, you can go to CGC.com right now, log in, go to submissions, and just go on the right to their private signings and do the drop down to see if it's listed. But I was in Boston when Clayton Crane canceled. I was by the booth the whole time. I mean, I was working my booth, but I was walking around, getting pictures to see what's going on, see the hype, see the guy hiding in the middle of his booth. I was there. I watched him. I did watch him talk to security guard after he did get harassed. But I want to point something out. This is the most important thing that I didn't believe. Obviously, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I don't think anybody saw this part of it. When I was there, I managed to go look at the 10-0 in person, and I was able to see it.
This is a good one.
And I'm trying to find a picture. Okay.
The 10-0.
So there's apparently two 10-0s, two submissions, one 10-0 in each submission. Okay. First, let me show you the 9-9. Okay. This is the 9-9 so you can see. I'm going to zoom in really quickly just so everyone can see it and show the picture. All right. This is, give me a second. There is the T, the 9-9. Take a look. Ready? You're not going to believe this, but this is 100% real. Okay. This is the 10-0. This is the 10-0. There is a huge dot on the 10-0 that is not in the 9-9. And if you do not believe me, I will just show you the picture of the 10-0. Well, give me a second, of the 10-0. And we're just going to zoom in, and we're going to see that dot on that T. So I don't know why they decided to give this copy the 10-0.
And you saw that book in person.
I held it in my hands. I looked at it. I looked at the picture twice.
That's a picture you took, right?
I took that picture from my own phone at their booth.
And there's no way that was something that was in the case, on the case.
It's on the book itself. Now, it may be a print defect, but if it is, that should not have been the copy that was chosen as the 10-0.
Wow. That is just...
Chosen is an interesting word there to use.
Yeah.
Chosen as the 10-0.
It gets, right. I was thinking that same thing, Joe. It gets deeper here. This whole, oh my gosh. So, okay. Now, if we go back to their comment, when they were mentioning that only, I'm going to bring it up on my phone here. Everyone's seen it, so I'm just going to bring it up on my phone and read this this one little part, where it talks about, it has to be a published artist. Let's read this again just to get proper context here. Going forward, CGC will only certify artist-created covers that are first approved by CGC, and those covers must be signed by the artist through the Signature Series program to receive the qualified Signature Series label. The cover must be created by a published artist. So they're basically saying this doesn't have to do with necessarily the green label versus the blue label. They're just saying specifically what they're willing to witness and certify as a Signature Series witness book.
They want to make sure that if they don't approve, Marvel or DC, whoever the publisher is, if they don't approve that work of art that's leaving their company, like, you cannot put your own cover on a book and say it came from them. Now, if they were just to say, hey, we put our own copy on, this is an exclusive, it's not been certified by Marvel or anything, they did that, Marvel might have still said no, but I don't think they were selling it as their own copy. They were selling it as their own variant copy of a Marvel book. So you just can't do that. So they're just saying, hey, we saw this on Clayton Crane's Instagram. We thought it was okay. We thought it was his cover. Turns out it wasn't approved.
Be right back.
We're going to do the extra work just to make sure that if this happens again, we don't want to run into this. Joe just transformed into a dog.
We got Scooby-Doo guest
360. We don't want the situation again. We want to make sure. Now, here's the thing, is that the artist has their own CGC account. So if Clayton Crane wants to sign books for himself and send them in on his own account, he can do that and get those books. But the question is how CGC is going to approve them. Like how do they figure out what's approved, what's allowed or not? Because they then have to do their own research and talking to whatever publisher it is. And I don't know if they have, how easy it is for them to get that information, because obviously they did not get the right information this time. Now, I'm not saying that they put more tracks in the place to fix that, but it happened once. They have to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Right. Okay. So, hypothetical here then, if this Black Flag acetate happened the same way it did, with Black Flag doing it, how they do it, the same exact process. If this actually happened a few months from now, then they wouldn't even if Clayton Crane was doing a CGC Signature Series signing, that it would be a no, because it wasn't Clayton Crane doing it himself and getting prior approved by CGC.
I think that if he is doing a signing, even if it's not through his account, they will follow the rules that they posted out. So if you have your own acetate cover, of this book that you bought yourself, you can send it into any future Clayton Crane signing. Or I'm assuming if he's at a show, you can theoretically do that too. And they're just doing this post as just a general in the future, hey, for this specific book with an acetate cover that we didn't approve, because we have certain methods for acetate covers that we need to get done, and you didn't do this, so this was not approved. At any time in the future, if this cover comes to us signed by Clayton Crane, even if it's witnessed, this is what we're doing.
Okay, we got economics and comics. What's going on? Thank you for popping in. Let's see. The CGC SS comments are smoke screens. What it means is, hey guys, if you want your unsigned garbage signed while we have it, we'll give you your label. I do, and I was saying that earlier in the show, I do think that's still there, because it's like, out of the blue, oh, hey, CGC's, okay, what can we do? Well, we got to backtrack. We got to give them a green label, but let's still try to milk this. Hey, Clayton, what's going on, man? Hey, you want to make a little extra money and save our asses? Get over here and start signing some of these books. So I do feel that that's there, but I do appreciate, we got Joe 360, Alex here, talking, kind of just giving more context and depth to, again, regardless of intent, I think we all as consumers and collectors, and many of us customers of CGC, we want to really understand, because like I said, I came out of everything that they've been doing, all the little statements they've been making, and that's why the title of the show tonight is what it is, because I'm just like, they're over there just drunk, you know, like, okay, what can we do next? So with that being said, though, to me, it's still a bit confusing on what CGC is stating that they are, how they are going to approve something like this. One example that comes to mind is, and I keep bringing this up, and I know it's pretty different, but you have artists that will take, like, one that was popular was I know there was the Venom Lethal Protector #1, where there was an artist, I don't know if he used Copic markers or he like took Venom's face and they like go on the actual book and change the whole. I think somebody put like White Venom or Agent Venom.
Sam De La Rosa?
Sounds familiar.
Sam De La Rosa did that cover, but he's also he's one of the guys that usually likes to draw huge Venoms on the side of the covers, like had nothing to, like complete Venom side profiles that completely change the book.
Right. So I'm assuming something like that. And again, if it's witnessed by CGC, I mean, they're kind of altering the book, but if it's the actual artist, you know, that's also signing the book, it's all part of that signature. That's why, you know, you get the yellow label, because they're witnessing it. So if they're drawn on it, so are they saying that if if Jim Lee in the future has a you know, his own incentive variant, and he's doing a signature series signing, and he's sitting at the table and he wants to staple an acetate cover to one book just to kind of maybe he draws his own art on it, then they're still kind of considering that the same thing, or is that where they're still going to give it a qualified?
So you cannot change, you cannot add something to a book that's been published that hasn't been officiated. So by adding the acetate cover, you're damaging the book by adding staples. Regardless, if you take the staples out, marry it onto it, put the staples back in and have it there, it wasn't officially produced that way. So think of a sign like a sketch, whether it's a little remark or whatever. On blanks, you could have the smallest dot. You could have a front side of blank where the whole thing is done. But they're still just drawing on the officially approved cover. If you go to add something, that is when the issue starts. Now, that artist on drawing on that can still be witnessed, because that they are still doing something, and that's being verified. But the book as an item itself is no longer original and has now been altered, so it gets the qualified grade for that.
Okay. Okay. And then I got one more question for you, Alex, and I want to have Joe jump in here and, you know, give some thoughts. But going back to this, the last little bit of their statement talking about going forward, CGC will only certify artist created covers that are first approved by CGC. So now, Alex, you did state, I mean, this still goes back to the publisher, right? So I'm assuming, even though they're not saying it, because if I was CGC, I could look at this and say, well, guys, we in the future aren't going to approve anything unless it's approved by the publisher. But they didn't say that. They're still saying we need to approve it. But are we to assume that they are stating that us as an entity, we need to protect ourselves, and we're not going to approve anything if it's not yet, you know, following the criteria that you had just previously stated from the actual publisher in that manufacturing process?
Yeah, because you have to assume that they did one of two things. They brought the Clayton Crane variant cover and the acetate cover to Marvel, and Marvel said yes and no, or they brought one to Marvel, and Marvel said yes. They did not approve that. So by doing that, they basically broken that trust and basically did something that, I mean, if you're a small publisher, you can do what you want. It's your rules. So maybe you approve the acetate cover. I think that they're covering the ground by wording it that way, because it maybe, you know, not everything is a big publisher. Publisher is more or less, you know, I mean, Turtles won Mirage, but how big was Mirage? It was just, you know, just as an example. So they're using that word loosely. I think what CGC needs to do to fix this is something really easy, and they did it in the past. When their character labels were found to have restoration labels, the resto on them, and the character labels got blue labels because there was no purple character label. They basically said, hey, If you have a blue label that's restored, it should be purple. So what do? Send your books in. We will rehold them for free because our credibility isn't on the line. You're not putting any money out. We're going to fix the issue for you, and boom, everyone wins. I mean, as best as you can.
Yep.
Now, will they do that? I don't know. But that should be the best thing to do is say, send us your books. We'll fix the labels, and we'll go from there. Now, if you have a yellow label book like this, are you going to want to send in for a green label? I don't think so. So how do you force that? You can't. But it's the market can determine it by not spending the money on those. Now that these labels are here, everybody watching this, if you could even buy this book, just be aware that you cannot buy the blue label books, the yellow label books, and just get the right ones, and the market can correct itself for this.
I will say this, Joe, I want you to jump in here. I will say this, though. I think there is incentive here. And this, again, this could actually, CGC might be, a little less drunk than I'm giving them credit for. Because this may be actually a smart move in actually getting rid of some of the blue labels that are out there. Because personally, if I had a blue label, I wouldn't want to just, even if CGC was going to do it for free, why do I want to give this book to CGC for them to send it back and give me a green label? Hell no. But then on the flip side, well, I can't sell it. I'm stuck with it. It doesn't matter if it's blue. It's got the scarlet letter. So, wait, you know what I can do? I can actually send it in for the signature series. I could get Clayton Crane to sign it. It's going to get a yellow signature series label, but it's the yellow-green qualified, sure. But at least now it's certified. So that can be something where there's this middle ground of there is some type of resolve, and it could pique people's interest to actually do that instead of sitting on the blue labels. Joe, thank you again, both of you. Thank you. I mean, this was perfect. I'm so glad you guys hopped in because it added so much context to the things that I wanted to address. And again, Joe, you probably heard me saying, I mean, when I first read this, it was very hard to kind of make sense of it all because first off, we know where they've been the last couple of weeks and just kind of reissuing these statements and now going back on their words. But do you feel like with this final statement here and then with the context that we had today, do you feel like CGC is moving in the right direction? And regardless of that answer being yes or no from you, do you also feel like they are still trying to handle this in a way that's going to bring them as much money as they can, no matter what?
So, yes, I do think they're moving in the right direction. I think it took them a little too long to start doing so. This is going on into the third week now. So I think this is something that they could have jumped on sooner and corrected sooner. Unfortunately, as we know with CGC, they're behind on a lot of things. They're going through a lot of changes internally as well as externally with the market and stuff like that. Maybe they handled it the fastest they could without, falling even further behind. So, yes, though, I do think that they're moving in the right direction with it. But of course, any company, especially a company that recently sold off a lot of their, their shares, their ownership to a investment firm, BlackRock, I believe, was involved with purchasing a portion of CGC. Yeah. Of course, they're going to have the shareholder in mind and profitability in mind. That's just kind of a no-brainer under the economic conditions that we live in. As far as the people that are quick to jump on the cancellation of CGC and say that they won't use it anymore, that's totally you're right. And I'm not telling you what to do with your money and what companies to support. I, for one, am not that easily swayed in either direction. CGC has had a lot of negative things come up over the past couple years between long wait times, a lot of issues with quality control. I've even seen a book put in the case upside down. And just last week, a friend of mine got 2 books shipped back to him, only one of which he sent in, and both of them had the same registration number on them. So that
wow.
Yeah, I mean, there have been problems. That being said, I'm not anti-CGC. but I'm also not, CGC is infallible and can do no wrong.
Right.
I'm that middle ground person who says, I would like CGC to succeed, and I would like them to be, continue to be there for the community, especially because I like uniformity in my collection, and most of my PC is CGC slabs. That being said, they certainly do not make choices that I personally agree with all the time. And I do hope that they can figure out a situation for this that, can transcend this situation particularly and be available to them in the future. I think we're going to see a lot of kinks being worked out, even in this exact circumstance, because I think that people that do send books in, this specific book, I think some of them are going to have different results because of how what's the word? Inconsistent. Inconsistent. CGC has been.
I mean,
So.
you can see they're actively working on trying to work on the situation. So they are trying to figure out what's best. And I mean, maybe they've been talking about it every single day internally, and this is the first, major change because now they're all on. But it looks like they've been working on it nonstop because this has been the biggest controversial issue in the industry in a long time. And especially with 3 shows major back to back, everyone's talking about it together. And so they definitely see that. They're aware. And I think it's great. I mean, whether you approve or not, I mean, they are actively working on this issue.
Yeah. I hear you guys. Joe, I share a lot of the things, the same sentiment that you shared. I'm the same way. Chris Olson, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, after the last few months with CGC in the entire market, I've been not getting any comics graded anymore from anybody. A little bit of bitter taste. I get that, Chris. Thank you again so much. He said one more thing here. If I get anything graded, I'll be going to EGS. I do believe he meant EGS. Because what I get out of grading is keeping the condition of the book and making it look good while displaying it. I hear you, Chris. And look, and I'm hearing a lot of, I think, was it economics? Somebody said, just the fact that Clayton is involved in even signing these books, it just leaves a bad taste. I get it, everyone. I understand the frustration. I understand the backlash. And this is just another layer of it that we've all been experiencing over the last few weeks. But I do like a lot of the things that Joe said, because oftentimes we have to find a middle of the road approach to actually solving problems, because to be quite honest, that's how problems get solved. Now, let's take the example. Somebody was saying, oh, it's just a PR move. You're probably right, but that's business, right? So would we rather not be in a situation where a big company like CGC wouldn't have to worry about PR? I would, because that means that somebody's at least putting the fire under their butts, right? It's like McDonald's raising wages, okay, raising their pay, or offering full benefits, or online schooling programs. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter of intent when it comes to businesses. At the end of the day, I mean, I wish it did. I think we all wish it did. We wish that the people sitting up at the executives tables in their suit and ties, on the 88th floor of that skyscraper, we wish that they were sitting there singing Kumbaya and actually saying, what are we going to do today to make a difference in all those little people down there? Maybe some of them care. Maybe they do, but it doesn't come through their business practices. And then once they put the suit and tie on and they clock in, it's all business. But you know what they do care about? Their money. So if McDonald's is sitting up at the executives table, all the CEO, the COO, and the executives are sitting there saying, guys, we're losing money because of turnaround. No, people are quitting. We pay X amount of dollars to hire them, and then X amount of money to train them. And before we can even finish their training, they quit. We rehire. It's costing us. We have to change something. What can we do? Let's better quality of life, because we realize that by offering quality of life, it's going to cost us more up front, but then we can actually keep employees, and that's going to cost us less in overturn, because so you weigh the cost benefit analysis, And if these things that affect human beings and us in our daily lives in an ethical way or a positive way, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter the intent. So you could say the same thing for CGC. We wish, maybe there are some folks, we don't know, we wish that CGC was sitting up at the execs table saying, we care so much about these collectors and we put them through hell. Oh my gosh, we can't even put the right, book in the right case. My girlfriend's hair got in the case last night because I brought the books home to grade, because I just, didn't want to work overtime and whatever it may be. We wish that they cared about us. But what they do care about is their bottom line. And folks, nothing's going to change. We have more power than we give ourselves credit for. We speak with our voices, we speak with our purchasing powers, and we speak with public perception. And if public perception starts eroding, then yeah, they are going to jump to some PR moves. But hopefully those moves, again, regardless of intent, lead to some changes that are actually going to benefit the collector at the end of the day. So, with that being said, I want every company in this hobby to succeed. I want to continue to hold companies accountable. CGC is really shooting themselves in the foot a lot as of late, but I want you all got to understand, it's like CGC's, anybody that sits here and says CGC's going the way of PGX, and somebody asked that, do you think CG, and I'm not mocking them, they asked a serious question. I said, no, absolutely not. CGC will never go the way of PGX because you can't even that would be like saying, that would be like if Jordan was in the middle of his career and Joe Blow that, made it to the NBA, but got like 5 minutes playing time over his first season and then retired. That'd be like saying, hey, Jordan's in the middle of his career. Do you think he's going to go the way of Joe Blow? No. Jordan could get injured. He could retire. He can, do any horrible thing at that point. He's already been Jordan for half of his career, and that already is not Joe Blow that only played 5 minutes in one season and then was done with the NBA. CGC is not going the way of PGX, and as we know it, they're not going anywhere. But it doesn't mean that we can't continue to hold them accountable and continue to talk about these things and continue to put the fire on high under their asses. So my recommendation, guys, moving forward is, I understand we get upset, we get filled with emotions, and we want to react, we lash out, we go on social media, we do this. I mean, I did that today. That was the whole point of this show. But thankfully, we have two awesome guests that came and brought context, and it allows me now to sit with it. And I can look at it from a better perspective to say, this makes sense, this still doesn't make sense, and what power do I have moving forward to speak either with my purchasing power or with my channel and the influence I have there or whatever. And I want all of you guys to do the same, because we can make a difference, even if we're just throwing one little pebble in that stream at a time to change that flow of that stream forever. So with that said, I do want to give our guests an opportunity to have a final word before we wrap up here. Alex, I mean, again, you shed so much light on so much. I really appreciate your insight here. It was absolutely needed. Any just kind of final thoughts on, kind of closing the door on this, or maybe even advice for those people that are really just kind of like at wit's end here with CGC?
I mean, CGC is still the number one. They're not going anywhere. They have $500 million. They're not going anywhere. So people that are selling their slabs and want to get rid of them, pick them up for cheap. I mean, the market is the market the way it is right now. I do want all grading companies to succeed, but I also want all grading companies to be honest and do well and just be successful, because a healthy marketplace is good for everyone. I mean, CGC should offer incentives to rival CBCS. CBCS should offer incentives to rival PGX. EGS should do what they're doing now. Their labels are cool. I personally show the slab.
Well, hold on a second.
I don't know. I haven't used them enough to know their grading, like I know CGC's inconsistently, but I might give them a chance. But it's just healthy to have competition. But just be aware, you know, all slab companies have customer service issues. They all have quality control issues. It's just you don't see them all. People post the negative things. You're not going to post all the positive things that I got. You're going to see the negative things. So yes, there are lots of mechanical error issues, lots of encapsulation issues. But think of what you're not seeing. There's lots of things that are going well, and we're just focusing on the negatives. So just remember, spend your money on what you want to spend your money on, and be happy when you do it, because at the end of the day, you're buying stuff for you.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Joe.
Yeah. So this is what I kind of talk to everyone about because I've had people come to me about grading and the companies all the time. CGC, there's pros and cons. There's the issue with quality control. There's the wait times that have definitely improved. And there's issues like this that are kind of more moral issues. There are pros though. CGC books, when you do decide to sell them, generally sell more than any other grading company. Now, CBCS, I've heard that they have worse customer service than CGC. I've heard that their cases are way better than CGC. And in my opinion, this is totally an opinion, I think their label looks a lot worse than CGC. PGX, I'm not even going to include them in the conversation. I really don't think they get a lot of respect in the comic book community. But if you like them, support them. Why not? Now, I do want to say I have a lot of CGC slabs. I have some CBCS slabs. And as of this week,
ooh, yeah,
I've got this bad boy right here, my first ever EGS slab. Now, I am not a big displayer of comic books. I generally keep things in the box, tucked away from harmful UV rays. But
bring that up here.
Not super expensive or anything like that. This is, for those of you who don't know, Darth Vader 20, the first cover appearance of Din Djarin in The Mandalorian and Grogu. And this is an EGS slab, which does have a really, really nice custom label. Not only is it, Beskar colored, just like the Beskar border here, but also it has a little picture. You might not be able to see them, but little pictures of Grogu and Mando up top. First of all, Chris, thank you. And thank you to Jeff, and thank you to Tony over at EGS for this giveaway book, this little prize from Comic Book Cannons, fresh from the comic shop. And also, this is cool. This looks awesome. And I've seen ones, especially ones with red covers that have red labels. Right. Those look super sick. For people that display their comics, this is the company for you. And I'm not that person, but I totally respect this company, what they're doing, and the people that want to support them. So that's what I gotta say. Support the companies that you want to support. Depending on your own situation, the company you choose might be different than someone else's. So, respect that. If you like PGX, I'm not gonna make fun of you. I'm not gonna rip on the fact that you have PGX slabs, but also, you got to respect that, I have mostly CGC stuff. So that's all I got to say. We're a community. One of the great things about this community is everyone has their own free will, their own choice to collect what they want. If that's, worthless dollar bin 90s books, awesome. If it's Silver Age Grails, awesome. If it's raw books, graded books, indie books, variant covers, even acetate covers with extra staples, if you want that, go do it. Just put your money wherever you want it to be.
Awesome stuff, Joe. Thank you, guys. So we do need to wrap up, guys. I would sit here and stay and chat it up with the chat in a little bit, but I have to pick up my son from work. So I just want to, what's that?
Important.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So, and it was his first day of school today. So I gotta check in, see how that went. But guys, again, Alex, Joe, thank you so much for hopping on. You guys made the show, man. Really, so much needed context. Guys, chat. This conversation isn't going anywhere. And like I've been saying this, it's okay. I know it seems that every YouTuber out there is using this as clickbait to get people in and all that. But look, they're still getting views because people still want to talk about it. And all I ask is that when we talk about it, whether you're a YouTuber or content creator, or whether you're just in the community hanging out, let's keep talking about it, but let's do it in a productive way. And saying a productive way doesn't mean not to have concerns. I mean, let's actually flesh this out. Let's ask the right questions. Let's be open to opposing viewpoints, because if we just want an echo chamber, we're not having a conversation. We're just stroking our own egos, and that gets us nowhere as well. So I think I am optimistic for all these players in the hobby. I think after the fire and the ashes and everything burns, I think we're going to rise from it better from all of this stuff. But I don't think this is over. We're going to see a lot more stuff transpire over the next coming weeks, I'm sure, probably regarding CGC still. Who knows what's going to be coming out with Black Flag. This is going to continue. It's not over. But for right now, guys, we are going to call it a show again. Thank you guys for being here. Sub up if you're not yet. And, of course, Joe, I don't have your link here because I didn't know you guys would be showing up. But go give 360 Comics a follow. I actually dropped the video yesterday, which was a sneak peek to something he's got coming down the pipeline. His link is in that video, or you can just search 360, spelled out with letters, comics on YouTube. Everyone, thank you guys so much for being here. And until next time.
Peace.
Collecting dude.
The dude of collecting.
Say goodbye, everyone.